As we mentioned, Donald Trump spoke to veterans at the American Legion today in Ohio. Hillary Clinton also spoke to that same group yesterday, but the latest polls show Clinton only has a 4-point lead over Donald Trump in Ohio, but nationwide, she is steadily losing steam in the polls.
Okay, so a Washington Post ABC News poll shows 41% of Americans have a favorable impression of Clinton, but 56% have an unfavorable view. But is this all deceiving here?
Cliff Young, the man who leads the Ipsos polling group right here in D.C., joins us now to break it all down. It becomes confusing for all of us lay people. What do all these polls mean?
Well, it's been a good week for Donald Trump. We see overall that the polls are narrowing. A couple weeks ago, he was down versus Clinton by about 10 points. Right now, he's down about 5 on average. If you look at the Ipsos poll, which came out yesterday, only a point. Now, the key question is why? Why is this happening? And there are a number of reasons. First and foremost, Donald Trump is getting over what I would call the post-convention hangover. He did not have a good convention. It was noisy. He had all that confusion with the Khan issue. Criticizing a mother and a mother of a fallen hero is never a good place to go. But in addition to that, over the last week and a half or so, he's been very focused. He's been very efficient. And most importantly, and I think many analysts are missing this, he's controlling the earned media space. He is controlling the airways. He's controlled the last 3 days, for instance, with the immigration speech as well as a trip to Mexico. So that's why we're seeing the polls narrowing.
Even though we see the polls narrowing in the key battleground state of Ohio, we know still in some of those other battleground states, Hillary Clinton still holds a lead. What does that tell you guys? What are you hearing as you poll people?
Yeah, true. Over the last few weeks, she has shown very strong leads, especially in the specific swing states like Florida, Pennsylvania, Virginia, and Ohio, as you mentioned. But I would expect, given the national polling is narrowing, we also do polling in 50 states every week, and we're starting to see that same sort of narrowing.
So tell us, though, a little bit about the difficulties or the challenges, you will, in this election. You know, people talk about Donald Trump's silent majority and whether or not these voters really exist. Is it a little bit tougher to actually get an accurate polling this time around with the people in this election?
This is an extremely difficult election. I've mentioned this in the past on this program. If you look at elections around the world, about 85% are slam dunks. They're really easy to predict. This is part of the 15% which we call disruptive elections, where past is not prologue, where the traditional voter calculus is different and not the same. And this is that very election. And there's a lot of variables out there, a lot of wild cards. For instance, Hillary's support, even at 8% or 10%, wasn't as strong when you peeled away the onion. When you look at the key matchups, for instance, even 2 weeks ago, Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton were even up. About 25% of the population still is undecided. That's basically 2 times more than in 2012. So there is a lot of ground still to be covered. There's a lot of uncertainty, and there's a lot to be seen still.
Oh, of course. Cliff Young, Ipsos pollster, thank you so much. Friend of the show here. We appreciate it.